Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. Hope everybody enjoyed the long weekend. We are into the final stretch of May. We are entering June, which, uh, from a news perspective, is usually a little bit quieter. But typically, the way biotech companies work is that they usually give like a window of, say, like first quarter, second quarter, first half, second half, right? When they're expected to report data. So as we get into June, a lot of those companies that said second quarter or guided to second quarter, and there's a handful. Now we're getting increasingly close to some significant catalysts, right? And um, I, kind of talking about this last week a little bit on the VTF, and it's biotech stocks are definitely a focus of mine, and the way I approach them really kind of depends on like the specific trade or what the reason is for getting involved with that stock, right? So if it's like a swing trade, that's one thing. If it's like earnings related, obviously another. If it's related, so like data related, especially on clinical stage names, so like stocks that don't have approved drugs, right? Or maybe like this is their most pivotal pipeline asset, right? So like basically catalyst on clinical stage bios that are going to have like material move, right? A lot of times what I've noticed is that like the stock can really start to come to life prior to that catalyst, right? So when you start to get some positioning into like that catalyst is when you really start to see the volume in the stock pick up, when you see the action pick up, when you see the option volume pick up, right? So um, not only do like options provide an interesting way to play the actual data readout, right? So if you wanted to be involved when they reported the phase two, phase three data, options present a way to do that. But also knowing when that's coming can help you either plan for a trade in advance and try to catch like a run ahead of time, or drop ahead of time, or possibly like hedge your risk, right? If you're in the actual stock, or if you're in like a swing option trade, knowing when that catalyst is coming up is going to help you be able to manage a little bit better, right? To either hedge it out or maybe like scale back risk, whatever, right? So what I like to do is kind of keep like a tab of when like the data is coming up. Read like the company press releases because they usually like say like like we're still on track, or we're guiding to June, or we're guiding to the end of the second quarter, right? And two names that have really started to come to life and kind of like highlight what I mean are Zine, which actually has two catalysts, a phase two and a phase three, expected by the end of June. I mean, and they just reiterated those timeframes on their recent corporate update, right? So that what you'll notice is that like the stock has really started to wake up, right? After a period of just like major underperformance, just grinding lower, all of a sudden the stock has started to come to life. The volume has really started to pick up. The option volume has really started to pick up, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's two major catalysts literally coming up any day now, right? So that's why knowing the timelines can be important, because especially on like these little on these smaller cap or maybe mid cap bios that are clinical stage, a lot of the action tends to happen before the readout, on the readout, and then immediately after the readout. So knowing when that readout is coming is super important, right? And the other one is nerve. So this actually started a little bit earlier, but I think it's also because expectations for that data coming have basically been any day now. So you can see that like this is like a stock with like a major phase three release coming, and you can see like the move has just been parabolic into it. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, right? But what it does mean is that like a significant move played out ahead of time, and if you had been planning in advance and kind of anticipated movement ahead of that catalyst, I mean, there could have already been like a trade opportunity, right? Right. So if you were long, maybe you can like take risk off, or sell or close and not take the risk into the event, or maybe hedge, or turn into a straddle, what have you, right? But that's why it's really important to know the timing of catalysts. It's worth spending a little bit extra time to kind of compile a list, get those dates on your calendar, like on your watch list, so you kind of know when you need to start planning. Maybe when you want to start getting involved with like an option position, right? Because a lot of times you get action in the lead up to those announcements, because people positioning for the event, or maybe like short covering, people getting involved alongside, whatever, right? So it's worth doing the extra research, spend a little bit extra time to figure out when the dates are, because a lot of movement happens prior. All right. So if you like these videos and you're looking for more option trade ideas, so like biotech data trade ideas, earnings trade ideas with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options to play. I hope you guys have a great night, stay well, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.